What are the technicals telling you in terms of how bad it could ultimately be?
Sure. I mean, when we look at the technicals, a few major developments happened over the last couple of months. First off, plenty of tops globally. Nasdaq 100, S&P, stocks 50, Mexpol, Dow, small caps. But just moving it back here and just taking a look at Nasdaq 100, for instance, it broke down from a technical pattern called the head and shoulders top. And the head and shoulders top suggests that there's deeper downside risk on the Nasdaq 100 towards 6750,
okay,
maybe 6642. Basically, you could get a deeper correction, maybe 15-16% on the Nasdaq. That pattern remains firmly in place while below 7,300 on the Nasdaq 100.
And when you think about the odds of it based just strictly on the technicals of it going down to the number you just said, how do you handicap it?
Well, you know, I'm Han Solo. Never tell me the odds. I mean, look, basically, I think there's a good shot that you could see it. Quite frankly, as long as you're below 7,300 on the Nasdaq 100, you should be able to test that retracement level and that target at 6750. So, and this does not bode well for FANG, which, you know, broke down also.
Right.
You know, it does not bode well for large cap tech. And the S&P. I mean, tech is the biggest part of the S&P 500, and the S&P 500 also broke down from a head and shoulders top. And that head and shoulders top suggests that we could see a 50% retracement, possibly down towards 2650 on the S&P. Now, as long as you're below 2800 on the S&P, that's a possibility, and that's something that we're going to go with. I mean, this is, it's not necessarily a sell and may and go away. I think June you can see a pullback, but when you look at summer seasonality patterns, you can get a rally, but I think it comes off of lower levels.
Can I ask you a technical question?
Sure.
When you think about the technicals,
right,
how do they interrelate to, for example, what's happened in the news over the last 5 days relative to the tech companies?
Well, I mean, the tech companies are leadership, and yesterday was a shot over the bow for tech leadership. And longer term, we do expect tech to remain leadership.
But did the technicals signal that?
Quite frankly, no. The answer is no. Not every single stock. I mean, there are some stocks that look like they're going to roll over, and there are other stocks that look like they're going to maintain growth leadership in a low-growth environment. And yesterday was a shot against that.
You know, Stephen, we look at the technicals, and I was interested in the technicals yesterday just because I thought we might breach a couple of levels in the S&P and some other areas. But technicals can only be so useful when you have a potential sea change like we had yesterday in hearing about all of these different government investigations, including the House Democrats now investigating the tech stocks. In a situation like that, what do you do with technicals versus fundamentals? Where do you rely on things, and how long does it traditionally take something like that to show up in the technicals?
Sure. I mean, well, quite frankly, I mean, it depends on stock-by-stock level. There are certain stocks showing that they're at risk for bad news. There are other stocks that are getting caught up in this that weren't at risk for bad news. So from a technical perspective, what do you do with that? Well, you basically manage your risk, and you look at where the most recent higher low was, where your major uptrend lines were, and you have your stops placed accordingly, just so, you know, if the market cuts off your nose, you save your face, you know? And I think that's what happened yesterday on a lot of these key tech stocks, not even the ones that were mentioned in the antitrust, you know, situation that the government raised yesterday. So, yeah, I mean, we have to manage our risk. There is the risk that the Nasdaq 100 can pull back deeper.